My name is Joseph, and I have always been fascinated by history and archaeology. When my team and I stumbled upon an ancient burial ground hidden deep within the dense forest, we had no idea of the terror that awaited us. The site was unearthed during a routine excavation, and from the moment we set foot on the sacred ground, an ominous presence seemed to surround us. The air felt heavy with a palpable energy, and the dense fog that clung to the area only added to the eerie atmosphere. As we carefully unearthed the ancient artifacts, I couldn't help but notice the elaborate carvings adorning the tombs. They depicted scenes of ancient rituals and ceremonies, their intricate details telling stories of a long-lost civilization. However, my excitement quickly turned to unease when my fellow archaeologists started to exhibit strange behavior. They spoke of unsettling dreams and heard whispering voices late at night. Some claimed to have seen fleeting shadows moving among the tombstones. I dismissed their claims as mere figments of an overactive imagination, attributing their experiences to the taxing nature of the expedition. But as days turned into weeks, I couldn't deny the growing sense of dread that seemed to cling to the burial ground. One night, as I lay in my tent, I heard a faint chanting in the distance. At first, I convinced myself that it was just the wind playing tricks on my mind. But the chanting grew louder and more distinct, its haunting melody echoing through the forest. Curiosity got the better of me, and I followed the eerie sound, my heart pounding with a mix of excitement and trepidation. As I ventured deeper into the forest, I noticed an otherworldly glow emanating from the center of the burial ground. There, amidst the ancient tombs, stood a group of figures clad in tattered robes, their faces obscured by shadows. They chanted in an ancient language that sent shivers down my spine. The air seemed to thicken with an otherworldly presence, and I felt like an intruder in a forbidden ritual. Fear gripped me, and I stumbled backward, desperate to escape the unsettling scene. But as I turned to run, a spectral figure materialized before me, a ghostly apparition that reached out with skeletal hands. I let out a scream as the figure loomed closer, its eyes empty voids that seemed to peer into my soul. It spoke in a guttural voice that sent waves of terror through me. "Leave this sacred ground, intruder, or face the wrath of the ancient spirits." With adrenaline surging through my veins, I ran back to the safety of our camp, my mind reeling from the encounter. My fellow archaeologists were alarmed by my frantic state, and I struggled to find the words to explain what I had witnessed. The next day, I shared my encounter with the group, and to my surprise, they confessed to experiencing similar eerie occurrences. We debated whether to continue our excavation or heed the warning of the spectral figure. Despite the chilling events, our desire for knowledge and discovery won over our fears. We resolved to continue our work, but we did so with newfound caution and respect for the ancient burial ground. As we delved deeper into the excavation, I found myself drawn to a particular tomb, its carvings depicting a ritual that seemed to mirror the haunting chant I had heard that fateful night. The tomb belonged to a revered shaman, known for his connection to the spirit world. As I studied the engravings, I felt a strange energy emanating from the tomb, as if it held a powerful secret. Unable to resist the allure of the ancient knowledge, I reached out and touched the engraved symbols. In an instant, the world around me seemed to shift. I found myself standing in a strange, ethereal realm, an ancient landscape inhabited by shadowy figures. The shaman spirit stood before me, his eyes filled with both wisdom and sorrow. "You have trespassed into realms forbidden to the living," he said, his voice a whisper on the edge of my consciousness. "This sacred ground is a gateway to the spirit world, and those who disturb its peace shall be haunted by its wrath." I tried to speak, but my words were lost in the ethereal void. The shaman spirit continued to impart a warning of the ancient spirits angered by our intrusion, of the darkness that would engulf us if we did not leave. Suddenly, I was back in the physical world, my heart pounding in my chest. I knew I had witnessed something beyond comprehension, something that defied the laws of nature. Despite the warning, we persisted in our excavation, convinced that we could unravel the mysteries of the ancient burial ground. But as days turned into weeks, the sinister presence intensified, and our dreams were plagued by night terrors. One by one, my fellow archaeologists fell victim to the malevolent spirits that roamed the burial ground. They vanished without a trace, their terrified screams echoing through the forest. The ancient spirits seemed to feed off our fear and despair, growing stronger with each passing day. The once exciting excavation had turned into a nightmare, and I found myself haunted by the consequences of our arrogance. Desperate for a way to appease the spirits, I returned to the shaman's tomb, hoping to find a solution to our predicament. As I traced my fingers along the carvings, the spectral figure materialized before me once again. "You have been warned, yet you persist in your folly," the shaman spirit said, his voice a solemn echo in the chamber. "The only way to break the curse is to return that which was taken, an artifact of great power that belongs to the spirit world." I understood the gravity of his words. We had disturbed the balance between the realms, and the only way to appease the spirits was to return what was rightfully theirs. With heavy hearts, we gathered the artifacts we had uncovered during the excavation and placed them back in their rightful resting place. As we did so, the malevolent presence slowly began to dissipate, as if the ancient spirits were appeased by our act of contrition. In the end, we left the burial ground with our tails between our legs, haunted by the memories of the sinister experiment that had nearly cost us our lives. The ancient burial ground had taught us a harsh lesson: some knowledge is not meant to be unearthed, and some realms are best left undisturbed. To this day, I cannot forget the haunting chant that once echoed through the burial ground, the whispers from the earth that continue to reverberate in my dreams, a chilling reminder of the horrors that lie in the depths of the ancient past.